Okay, this Ask Energy is a super popular question I usually get from a lot of different types of people and athletes is what is a good snack? Right? We all have that question. Well, first, let's actually go back a little bit and ask yourself, do you need a snack first? Like that's the question that I ask people a lot is, do you need a snack? Are you eating enough protein and fiber and fat during meals to actually be full for 4.5 hours in between meals? Now, if you're not full and you do need a snack, okay, great. We'll talk about that in a second. But here's just a quick little reminder. If you're getting hungry in about an hour and a half to 2 hours after you eat a meal, you are likely not eating enough protein, fiber from carbohydrates, and fat. So something to think about. You should be full at least a minimum 3.5 hours, right? But I really try to aim for like 4.5. So that's the first thing. Back to the snack. If you want a snack, okay, so let's dissect what a snack is doing. It is basically bridging the gap between meals, right? The last thing you want to do is like, say you have a great breakfast or lunch or whatever, and you're like, wow, it's so blood sugar controlling, insulin controlling, metabolically efficient, right? Using my metabolic efficiency training concept. You're like, I'm spot on with that. The last thing you want to do is go from like an optimal blood sugar insulin response during a meal and destroy it during a snack, right? So let's set it up first. What do you need the snack to do? Well, you need it to get you to the next meal, but at the same point, you don't want a huge blood sugar and insulin spike. So when we think about snacks, you want to think about protein first, okay? Now, it totally depends on if you're at school and you're in office, if you're on the go, traveling, totally get that, right? Protein is tough sometimes because a lot of protein sources are perishable, but you can choose protein sources that are not perishable. So there are like ready to drink shakes, like protein shakes. What I tell my college athletes is grab a shaker bottle, put a scoop of protein powder dry in there, put in your backpack, and then when you need a snack, find a water fountain, fill it up, voila, you have it's an easy snack and you stay hydrated. There are other protein sources that you can take with you. Some may be popular, some not too popular, but I'm just going to go through this list, right? So nuts are fantastic. Most nuts are about a 1-to-1, sometimes a 2-to-1 carbohydrate to protein ratio. So those will stabilize your blood sugar like crazy. So those are fantastic. You kind of get in trouble when you put nuts with a lot of dried fruit, chocolate, like the traditional, what I would call United States trail mix, right? That can get you in trouble because that just crazy jacks up the carbohydrates and the protein is only so much, right? So if you have a traditional trail mix with like peanuts, M&Ms, right, raisins, that kind of thing, it is going to be a very high carbohydrate to protein ratio. So that is going to destroy your blood sugar. Not a great snack, but you can make a trail mix like some almonds, some walnuts, cashews, even. You can throw some peanuts in there if you want to. You can also put some dried fruit. It could be non-sugar coated if you want to, and you can throw some dark chocolate in there, like dark chocolate chips, 70-80% cacao or higher. So there's a way to make a great trail mix. Okay, so that's one thing. Another is just some beef jerky, right? If you eat jerky, animal protein like that, you can do beef jerky, turkey jerky, salmon jerky. You can do any type of jerky. That's a fantastic protein that you can actually pair with maybe some berries, maybe a banana, grapes, cherries, whatever it is that you like. Okay. Now, when we talk about perishable proteins, now you kind of have to get into the whole, can you hold it within 2 hours of non-refrigeration? So the rule is basically if you can eat it within 2 hours of taking it out of the fridge, it should still be good. So now you can get into things like deli meats, cheese and whole grain crackers, cheese and grapes, cheese and blueberries, right? You can also get into things like yogurt cups. You can get into like cottage cheese, which is fantastic also. So there are a lot of great sources of protein that you can do for snacks. And one that is not too popular, but I love them to death. You ready for this one? I know, sardines. Okay, I get it, right? Think whatever you want. Sardines are a fantastic source and they don't need refrigerated. Great source of protein. All right, so back to the snack thing. You want to start with a protein first. Then, if you want a carbohydrate, a higher fiber carbohydrate, yeah, choose some berries, choose some whole grain crackers. Absolutely, you can do that. So it's super easy to get into the whole just combining the protein and the whole grains or the higher fiber carbohydrates. Now, a lot of times We're on the fly, we're on the go, want to throw a bar or something in our bag, totally fine, right? Just make sure if you're using an energy bar, make sure it's a protein bar, number one. Make sure it has a little bit more protein. I'd like at least 15 grams per bar if you're going to use it for a snack. That's my ideal. If it's 10, it's okay. 15 is like my minimum, okay? Also, make sure that protein bar does not have a lot of added sugars, does not have a lot of added oils, does not have preservatives if you can help it. That's kind of tough some days. And the big thing with that is, I mean, I kind of mentioned the kind of the protein in there. The big thing is making sure the carbohydrates are also not super high. So you want to stick to like a 1-to-1 or maybe a 2-to-1 carbohydrate to protein ratio for your snacks. So let me, and you can, let me back up. You can go less than that too. Like I have some people that literally just do protein as a snack. That's cool. That's fine. You don't need any carbohydrates if you don't want them. They will come in your next meal most likely. Okay. Let me back up real quick. If I'm using the protein bar as an example, the whole 1-to-1, 2-to-1 ratio, super easy. You don't need to be a mathematician to figure it out. Just look for the protein first. How many grams of protein? So say this protein bar has 15 grams of protein. Okay, well, if you're following a 1-to-1 ratio, you want that 1-to-1, which is really good optimizing blood sugar and insulin, then make sure that bar has no more than 15 grams of carbs. If you're going for a 2-to-1 where you need maybe a little bit more carbohydrates, then with this example, you want to make sure not to get more than 30 grams of carbohydrates because that would be a 2-to-1 in this example. Okay, so what are great snacks? I think I covered that. And again, kind of thinking about, do you need snacks? What is the right time for snacks? I think I kind of educated you a little bit about that. But listen, snacks are hard. I like, no kidding. That is literally why I created my own snack company, because I was so frustrated with the snacks that are on the market. I was tired of preservatives. I was tired of added sugars. I was tired of all these food dyes and chemicals and all that stuff, right? But that's what drove me to create All Around Snack Co. because I was just frustrated, right? So for most people, snacks are important, especially young individuals, college age and below. Snacks are super important. Maybe even for older individuals, depending on if they're not getting enough protein in. And I'm talking like masters athletes, right? Some of us, again, you may not need a snack, but the whole point is when you choose one, please choose one that has a good ratio of carbohydrate to protein so you don't destroy your blood sugar and you don't destroy your blood insulin. Okay, great question. Thank you for submitting. Can't wait to answer the next one on Ask Energy. Thanks for watching.